All right, hello people. How you doing today? So I felt the need today to speak about something that I saw on my Facebook this morning. It's basically just a comment about um, transgenders, and specifically, I believe they're referred to as transgender women, in the sense to where they transition from a man into a woman, and it's basically just about the bathroom issue. So one of my friends posted about pretty much the protection of their wife and their daughter in the bathroom stall. Also, within the comments on their post, people brought up about, human trafficking and how it'd be easier with gender neutral bathrooms, or with allowing transgenders to use the bathroom of their gender choosing. Um, One thing that I kind of just wanted to point out, um, at least just the first thing that came to mind, if this used to be man and is now a woman has gone through their surgery and, identifies as a woman, now has lady parts, how would that allow them to, by the worried person point of view of a man using a bathroom, how would this now woman assault your wife or your child? With a penis that they no longer have. I'm I'm not going to state any morally correct or incorrect things here, because my morals are very loose. And I believe whatever people do with their lives, they choose to do, whether or not it has consequences. It's their life. If they're not harming anyone else, I don't see an issue with it. Some people may claim, oh, it's a mental illness. I don't care. Whatever they decide to do with their life to improve it is up to them. But the main thing that kind of struck me was the thought of, just in general, men and women using the same restroom, regardless of being transgender or whatever. When you think about it, you're at home, you're with your family possibly, or you live alone, whatever. But sometimes you'll have the opposite sex come over, or they may just be your family members. There are a lot of sexual assaults and molestations that happen within the home. You all use the same bathroom. I don't see anyone complaining how we need to have gender-specific bathrooms in the home. I know people are probably going to scream, well, you trust them. That's exactly the problem with those kinds of situations. If you want to bring that up, that's just something I want to point out, that even in the home, you're standing next to each other, whatever. It doesn't have to happen in the bathroom, but regardless, you guys use the same bathroom. I use the same bathroom as my husband, and when my daughter gets older, she's going to be using the same exact bathroom as my husband, as her uncles, as her future nephews, future kids, whatever, And just to point out that usually the people who you trust are the people that betray your trust. Now, I'm not saying that strangers aren't, in that category. Some of them. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But people need to understand that not everybody is out to get you. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, in America in general, is somebody feels like someone's out to get them, always. And they have to make it a point that when they're uneducated about it, when they don't understand these people, they make it a point to bring up a whole bunch of pandemonium and panic. And that's exactly why people aren't as trustworthy. because they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to educate themselves, and they're also not willing to be open about it. I have no problem with the idea of, you know, gender-neutral bathrooms, or in general, just a bathroom. I'm going to give an example. If for some god-awful reason there's only a men's bathroom available, and I have to take a massive shit. And when I say massive, I mean it could be massive in size, it could be liquid, graphic, yes, it could be fucking diarrhea. Get over yourselves. You've all had it, you know? I'm not gonna pop a squat behind a fucking tree when there's a bathroom right there. I'm gonna run into that bathroom and I'm gonna fucking use it. And most people would say, oh, that's not a problem. Like, people wouldn't really bat an eye at it because I'm a woman. That's stupid. Stop, not really victimizing women, but stop making men out to be evil in that sense. Men don't just think about sex. They don't. Like, you have plenty of fucking women who think about sex all the time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're predators and that they're going to hunt your women, your children, your husbands, you know, people. I don't believe that people are naturally sexually prone to be aggressive. And if you think that one specific sex is more or less likely to screw over your future children, screw over your family, screw over yourself, and you're constantly on alert, there is an issue. People don't see that there's an issue, and instead they just go around asking antagonizing questions and statements, and they don't even realize that right then and there they are accusing their own sex, regardless of what this sex chooses to do with their lives, like regardless of whether or not they choose to go from being a man to a woman to a man, whether they choose to like women instead of men or like men instead of women. They don't realize that this is what they're doing. That's one of the other things I wanted to point out. Just because this person used to be a man does not mean that they like women. It doesn't mean that whatsoever, and they're not considering that either. I mean, granted, this person could still like women and want to be a woman, but that doesn't mean that they're predators. And it seems so foreign to people to understand this, or to even try to understand this. Instead, they're just afraid. They're just like, oh, that's sick, that's disgusting. But why? Because they're linking these people to just be predators. And if you do that, you're not going to look at the majority of the people. You're not going to look at the different types of these people. Yeah, there's probably someone out there who's a sick, malicious bastard who's like, oh, I'm going to use this to my advantage. But is that the majority? Probably not. And regardless, there's probably been people who've done that already. There have been people on the internet who have done that. They have posed as someone else and taken advantage of someone who's ill-educated, someone who trusted them, someone who got into a situation they didn't need to get into. But that's not the majority's fault. That is that individual person's fault. That individual person is the predator, not everyone else. Like, just because, you know, your parents told you back then, stranger danger, or they told you back then, be careful on the internet, you can't trust people, doesn't mean that everybody is not trustworthy. You yourself were on the internet once. Were you untrustworthy? Were you one of those people? No, probably not. You're probably thinking, oh, I wasn't that person. You don't ever think to possibly put yourself in the view of someone who thinks you're a predator. Someone could just as easily not trust you. Think about it that way. Now, I'm not in any way condoning people who do these terrible things. Not at all. I think it's sick, I think it's disgusting, and I think there should be better punishment for people who get away with these crimes. And that's another issue. Is people are fighting so hard to keep transgender people from fitting in because of this reason. And this reason alone, for people who have not transitioned, from people who are just normal, regular, their normal sex that they were born with, their biological sex, they are not doing anything with that issue. They're not being harsh. They're giving people like 90 days in jail, 10 years on the sex offender list. What the fuck is that? Tell me, what the fuck is that? Is that any punishment whatsoever for causing someone's psychological and possibly physical damage, for going against their human rights and for violating them? And you want to tell me that you're afraid of people who want to fit in, who want to feel correct with their bodies, with their own self-identity. You're telling me that they're the issue. No. The issue is the predators, the lack of open-mindedness, the lack of education, the lack of wanting to be educated. I could probably continue to go on about this, but I think I've said most of what I wanted to say. We can continue the debates in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. I'm a very open-minded person. I love debating, and I love seeing other people's opinions on this issue and in general other issues, anything really. So feel free to leave anything that you want to say down in the comments. I don't care. If you like this, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like it, dislike, unsubscribe, discomment, the general shebang and all that. Anyway, good morning, people. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.